Hello, YouTube. I'm Vince White. I'm an employment attorney, and on this channel, we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answers they need from an employment attorney. We have crazy hair today. We have a question here from YouTube user Bravo White, who asked us, I have a question. Hopefully, I have an answer. If the defense, excuse me, has no evidence in their responses, why do they choose not to settle and plan on trying to get the case dismissed on summary judgment? Okay, so there's a lot of potential reasons why that could be the case. I'm going to list off the potentials. I'm not saying any of these are you necessarily, so like don't be offended, because some of these are not like the nicest reasons, and some of them are just like out of left field you might not expect. So listen, if you're pro se, if you don't have an attorney, there's a really good chance. I mean, most of those cases get dismissed because pro se litigants generally don't know how to draft a pleading that can get past a motion to dismiss, or even if it gets past a motion to dismiss, can it get past summary judgment? So a lot of times you might be like, oh, they don't have anything. They don't have anything. And I like sitting there, they're over there, the fence is over there sitting there like, bro, you don't even have a complaint that can get to trial. Like we don't need anything. This is not a thing. That is very common. Another reason could be like, why are they not talking settlement? A lot of people ask for more than their case is worth, right? If the defense attorney's sitting there like, okay, you want $11 billion, but I think if you win at trial, you're going to win 80 grand. Why would I pay you $11 billion? Right? Like, let's just let it roll. Roll the dice. Let's see what you win. If you win, you might not win, but if you win, I think you're only going to win 80 grand. So like that's another reason why they would often not care about settlement at all. Why else? There's a lot of times defense attorneys like try to take a tough guy stance. They might think that you'll cave, you'll come down to a lower figure or a lower demand if you're tough with them. They might think you don't know how to oppose a summary judgment motion. That's really common. If you're pro se, it's entirely possible that you would find opposing a summary judgment motion to be very, very difficult and onerous and complex, even if you're represented but your attorney isn't the best. I've seen a lot of attorneys kind of choke on complex motion practice. Like it's not the easiest thing, and listen, they might know your attorney's not a great research and writing attorney. Your attorney's not great in the papers. That happens. I mean, that's one of the reasons why we work our cases as a team here, right? Like every case is going to have 3, maybe 4 attorneys attached, because we have attorneys who are better at different things, right? You're selecting multiple skill sets, putting it together into a whole that makes a better team, better representation. So listen, that's the thing, right? Could just be they think you or your attorney are not going to do well on the opposition. Could also be that this is just the case the defense attorney decided to bill on, right? Like, oh, I've worked 10 cases for this company and I got them all settled and they're really happy with me. They think I'm amazing. Now it's time for me to make some money. I'm going to bill this last 11th case like crazy. All the motion practice, no settlement, just ride it out. Maybe they even want to do the trial. I don't know. Like that's the thing that happens. It's pretty, like it's not the most common thing, but it happens. I've definitely seen defense attorneys just choose a particular case. They want to take to trial, maybe because they think they can win. Maybe because they think they can bill a lot. Maybe both, right? That's the thing. I'm trying to think of why else. I mean, they just might not think you have great evidence, right? I mean, like, listen, you're saying they have no evidence. I don't know how qualified you are to decide if they have good evidence or not. And that's not me being, I mean, I guess it is me being rude, but it's not intentional. Like, I'm not trying to make fun of you. I'm being sincere. I don't know, right? If you're a great litigation attorney and you have a really good hold on, a really good grasp on like what constitutes good evidence of your claims, then amazing. But on average, most plaintiffs in this field largely don't understand the evidence in their case. Like I have a lot of conversations with people which is like, hey, the things you're saying are not, you have a great case, but the things you're saying are not like part of that case. And like, here's why. right? You often find in trial prep, like you're going over the elements of a claim and how you intend to prove that claim. And people will be like, yeah, and what about the cherry blossoms? You're just like, what? Right, no, we're talking about your negative workplace consequence and how we're going to demonstrate that for the jury. Like, cherry blossoms. Yeah, cherry blossoms. And remote control cars. And you're like, okay. Well, tell me about the cherry blossoms. Like, how do you think they're important? Well, they fall to the ground. Okay. Are you saying like maybe they tracked in on somebody's boot and that's proof that they came in and heard you engage in protected activity? No, but I mean, they're on the ground. Okay, what does that mean to you in this context? Like, how is that going to show us the negative workplace consequence? Well, they're cherry blossoms. They're on the ground, and sometimes people drive remote control cars. Right? Obviously, I'm being facetious, but like, you can have these conversations where the clients, they don't necessarily understand the evidence chain. They don't really understand the elements that you need to show, and that's fine. It's not their job to understand, right? Like, I'm sure if I'm talking to a surgeon, and I'm like, yeah, so like, I think it's going to be good. I haven't, like, I'm trying to think of a stupid thing I can say, like, yeah, I haven't been eating as much, so you have like less fat to cut through for the surgery. Sure, that surgeon's like, Mr. White, you are so ignorant. So stupid. That's not a thing, right? Like, you could not ever lose enough weight in 10 days to make a difference for this surgery. Like, that's not a thing, right? So like, I'm not mocking plain, I mean, I guess I am, but not intentionally. I'm kind of describing an issue that we face where like, we're not necessarily speaking the same language because there's very clear ways of proving one of these cases. There's very clear things you can demonstrate, you can use to show success on a claim like you might have. I assume you have a workplace discrimination or workplace sexual harassment claim. And we tend to get fairly good ideas of how to prove those claims. There's always new ways. There's always novel ways. You always have to be creative and thoughtful. So I'm not saying you're wrong. I have no idea. I'm just saying when you're saying they have no evidence, they may not agree. And when you're saying your case is very strong, or you're believing, and you're not even saying that, you're not saying your case is very strong, but it does seem like you believe that, they may also not agree. And they have reasons to try to knock you down, so I don't trust them, right? I don't trust them one bit because their goal is to make you take no money. So I'm not saying trust them. I'm not saying agree with them. But I am saying, like, if they're actually taking a no-pay stance and they're actually saying, listen, this is not getting past summary judgment, there's not a chance, they probably either believe that or they're just taking a position. Right? Which is frustrating because you won't fully know which is the case. If you have an attorney that's representing you who you trust, you may want to have a conversation about that, right? Hey, counselor, why do they think this? Why do they think we're not going to get past summary judgment? What are the risks inherent in my case? Like, did they do a really bad job? And a lot of attorneys, they're going to like not give you they'll cushion the blow a little bit. I think that's a huge mistake, right? Like, that's why are we blowing smoke here? Like, we got to be having frank conversations. You need to be fully informed. You need to know what's good, what's not good. And again, Bravo White, I don't know if your case is amazing. Could be the most amazing case. Could be the Taj Mahal, the Sistine Chapel of cases, right? Like, it could be amazing. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying sometimes when this happens, we can extrapolate out that maybe the defense does not see the case the way the plaintiff sees it, right? So if you are represented, I would have these conversations with your attorney. What are the elements of my case? Okay, how are we going to prove those elements? What do you view the risks to my case are in summary judgment? How many of my claims do you think will get past summary judgment? How many of these claims do you believe will get to trial? These are valuable conversations to have, because I can see from your question that you're like, hey, what's going on? Why is this happening? And I can give you probably 30 more reasons why they might do that. And those reasons will all be a mix of don't trust defense attorneys and you could be wrong, right? But at the end of the day, if you have representation, they know a lot more about your case than I do, and they're going to be able to have a very frank, hopefully detail-oriented conversation with you about your case, about your claims, about your chances and prospects and risks. And they should be having those conversations with you, right? And that's part of the job. Anyways, Bravo White, I hope this was helpful. I hope you take this all in the sense that I don't know what's going on. I'm not saying any of these things apply to you. I don't have any knowledge. I don't know your case. I don't know the evidence. I don't even know what your claims are. I'm just saying you asked a very general question as to why this could happen, and I kind of tried to pour out all of my ideas, some of which are not flattering, some of which are very flattering, I think. All right. Good luck out there. I hope you get paid. I hope you get past summary judgment and have a wonderful, successful trial and win big. I don't know if I said this, but yeah, if this was helpful, like and subscribe, comment down below. It does help me to help more people just like you. And remember, almost everybody works, but not everybody wins.